Yeah, it seems like there was a time when a lot of people have only seen Johnny Depp's life on TV and in movies. Huge movies, crazy fame, loud news stories, deep love stories, and painful breakups. His private life has always been in the news, from his messy breakup to his rock star romance. Al was going to do that a long time ago, you know? He planned to make this movie. After that, his fights with Amber Heard in court changed the way everyone saw him. After that, Johnny backed off. Less interviewing means more freedom. Talks of a new relationship are going around now that she is 62. There is a difference, though. This is what he says when people ask him if he'll ever get married again. No. Does love no longer shine for him? Come with us as we look back at his personal life from the start and see how it has affected what he thinks about marriage now. From singing dreams to becoming a worldwide star. John Christopher Depp II was born on June 9, 1963. He loved music more than movies for a long time. He wanted to become famous on stage and played in small rock bands. By chance, I became an actor. In 1984, he had his first movie part in the scary movie A Nightmare on Elm Street. It was a small piece, but it opened the door. After that, in 1986, he wrote Platoon. Soon after, he got the lead part on the TV show 21 Jump Street, which changed everything. He became a teen hero almost overnight because of the show. Johnny didn't want to be the pretty TV guy, though. He wanted bigger parts. He was interested in stories that were weird, broken, or sad. That picture was made during the 1990s. He showed a different side in movies like Arizona Dream, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Benny and June, Dead Man, Donnie Brasco, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Then he worked with the famous director Tim Burton. Edward Scissorhands, which came out in 1990, was their first movie together. It became one of Johnny's favorite parts to play. Kind, shy, and not like everyone else. Their work together on shows like Dark Shadows, Sleepy Hollow, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, and Ed Wood didn't end. Johnny always picked out strange, bold parts that made him stand out. He became famous all over the world when he played Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. The part made him famous all over the world. From 2003 to 2017, he made movies that got him awards and votes. He was up for Finding Neverland and Sweeney Todd as well. He kept his job with movies like Into the Woods, Public Enemies, Black Mass, Murder on the Orient Express, and Minamata. He went so far as to play Gellert Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series. Johnny won many awards and was named People's Sexiest Man Alive twice. He also has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His personal life, on the other hand, was becoming just as well known and much more complex as all of his success. Love, getting tattoos, and breaking up young. Johnny's love story began when he was young. In 1983, he got married to makeup artist Lori and Allison. They went to Los Angeles to try to make it as musicians. Big names like the Ramones and Iggy Pop played before Johnny's band, but they didn't do very well. When Lori lost the ability to hear in one ear, her life changed. She started working as a makeup artist in movies and TV shows. Nick Cage helped Johnny get his first movie test by putting him in touch with her. Even though they were no longer together after 2 years of marriage, they stayed friends. Lori even fought for Johnny in court years later and kept using his last name officially. In the late 1980s, Johnny became engaged to both Jennifer Grey and Sherilyn Fenn, but neither of them got married. His most well-known early relationship was with Winona Ryder. They met while making the movie Edward Scissorhands. Johnny took a big hit. He even got Winona a tattoo that said Forever on his arm. Their love didn't last, though. After they broke up in 1993, Johnny changed the tattoo to say No Forever. People in Hollywood talked a lot about how sad it was at the time. The model Kate Moss came next. From 1994 to 1998, they were together, and their relationship was very public and serious. Johnny's life went in a different direction after it was over. While making The Ninth Gate in France, he met Vanessa Paradis, a singer and actor. Things were calmer when I was with Vanessa. They raised 2 kids, Lily Rose in 1999 and Jack in 2002, and lived a quiet life. Before he became a dad, Johnny said that becoming a dad gave him a strong base to stand on in life. He said it wasn't meant to love through children. It was meant to be. The math finally made sense. Fans thought for a long time that Vanessa might be his last wife. But in 2012, they said they were splitting up. One more time, Johnny was by himself, and the next part would be the most exposed of all. A marriage that made a lot of news. After Johnny broke up with Vanessa Paradis, he started dating his co-star from The Rum Diary, Amber Heard. They met on the set in 2009, and they started dating in 2011. In February 2015, on Johnny's private island in the Bahamas, they got married. They got engaged in 2014. The day they got married seemed like a fresh start, but after less than 2 years, everything fell apart. Amber asked for a temporary protection order against Johnny when she filed for divorce in May 2016. She also asked for a lot of money each month and spouse support, but the court said no. Amber told the judge that Johnny had sworn at and hit her during their relationship, and that he did this while he was drunk or high. Pictures of what were said to be her bruises were shared by the media. The news spread all over the world like wildfire. Johnny strongly denied the charges. His explanation was that she was lying to get a quick cash settlement. People watched the divorce more than any other famous court case of the decade. Both sides told sad stories. A deal was made in August 2016. In January 2017, they got a divorce. Amber got rid of the protection order, and they both put out a statement together. They said that their relationship had been very passionate and sometimes unstable, but that it had always been based on love and that neither of them ever meant to hurt the other physically or emotionally. As part of the deal, Johnny agreed to give Amber $7 million. Amber promised that the money would be given to the ACLU and Children's Hospital Los Angeles. A non-disclosure deal also said that neither of them could talk about their marriage in public. Later, news came out that Amber had only paid part of the gift she had promised. It looked like some of the money didn't come from her, but from someone else. The world paid close attention. For Johnny, the aftermath was more than just worry about the law. That moment changed the way he thought about love and marriage for the rest of his life. The wife beater, a news story that caused a court case. A story in April 2018 in the British newspaper The Sun called Johnny Depp a wife beater, which shocked fans. The news quickly reached every corner of the world. This was more than just an insult for Depp. That had hurt his reputation and job, he said. In June 2018, 2 months later, he went to court. The business that owns The Sun and its editor, Dan Wootton, were sued by him for libel. His goal was to clear his name. When the case went to court in July 2020, both Depp and Heard gave statements. During the hearing, the judge looked closely at 14 different times when Heard accused Depp of AAE. Every event was looked at in great depth. Judge Andrew Nicol sided with the newspaper in November 2020. The judge said that most of what the paper said about Depp as a husband beater was true. 12 of the 14 events had been proven in civil court, and the judge said that Depp had made Heard fear for her life. Depp said that Heard wasn't telling the truth and called her a liar. Judge said that claim was not true because giving $7 million to charity is not something that a gold digger would do. After the ruling, things changed quickly. Warner Brothers asked Depp to leave the Fantastic Beasts movie series. After that, he tried to appeal the decision, saying that the hearing wasn't fair. And that Heard wasn't an honest witness. His lawyers also said that new information called her charity promise into question. The Court of Case turned down the case in March 2021. The judges said that Depp had a full and fair trial and that the judge made choices by carefully looking at each case and not just trusting Heard's character. Johnny's path to justice in the UK was over, but he would have to fight again in court. The op-ed by Amber Heard and the legal chain reaction. Amber Heard wrote an opinion piece for The Washington Post in December 2018 called "Spoke Out Against Sexual Violence and Faced Our Culture's Wrath." That needs to alter. In the piece, she talked about how she became a public person who stands up for victims of domestic violence. And wrote, "Felt the full force of our culture's anger toward women who speak out." She also said that she had seen how institutions defend men who are accused of abusing women. Johnny Depp's name wasn't in the story, but a lot of people think it was about him. After the fact, Heard said that the attention from the op-ed cost her a movie part in a big fashion campaign. Even though the piece was meant to support Renewing the Violence Against Women Act, it quickly became about the author's own life. Depp sued Heard for defamation in February 2019, saying that the article's claims were false and meant to hurt his image. He said over and over that he thought they hurt him during their relationship. The argument turned into a straight fight in court between the two. Things said by Depp's lawyer Adam Waldman also became part of the public debate around the same time. In 2020, Waldman told the Daily Mail that Heard and her supporters made what he called fake accusations. He also said that an event that happened in 2016 in the couple's Los Angeles penthouse was staged because police came and saw no damage or injuries. After that, he said, we have reached the start of the end of Ms. Heard's hoax against Johnny Depp. In August 2020, Heard sued Depp again for these comments, saying they were bad for her image. Virginia's Fairfax County is now the scene of the case. As things got worse, some lawyers quit Heard's legal team. A judge also took Waldman off of Depp's case in October 2020 because he was found to have given private information to the media. In 2021, judges asked the ACLU for records about Heard's promise to do good things. Soon after, Judge Penny Askerade wouldn't throw out Depp's claim, saying that the Virginia case was legally separate from the decision in the UK. Early in 2022, she gave permission for cameras to be used in court. This made the trial a global event that millions of people watched. Everyone in the world watched the trial start. The hearing finally started in Fairfax County, Virginia, on April 11, 2022, after a long wait. The first day was all about choosing the judges. This case would decide Johnny Depp's lawsuit against Amber Heard over her op-ed and Heard's claim against Waldman over her comments. In contrast to the trial in the UK, cameras showed every witness, objection, and response as they happened. You can quickly find clips from courtrooms on social media. People on both sides disagreed very strongly. Every statement, look, and soundbite became news right away. The case went on until June 2022. The jury heard two very different stories about the same friendship during those weeks. Depp went on and on about how he was abused and manipulated. Heard stuck to what she said. That she had been hurt and bothered abusively. Lawyers listened to recorded talks, looked at photos, and went over events that had already been looked at in detail in a UK court. The charity pledge and the mental cost of being watched by a lot of people came up again. What began as a newspaper headline 4 years ago had turned into a full-on global court play that millions of people watch every day. The Virginia courtroom was more than just a place to do business for Johnny and Amber. It turned into a stage where the world could see every painful moment of their personal past. As the trial played out on screens around the world, the final result was still not clear. It hung in the balance as the story went on. As the courtroom starts, accusations are made from both sides. On April 12, 2022, both sides of the case gave their opening comments in a Virginia courtroom. Judges were told by Johnny Depp's lawyers that Amber Heard made up the domestic ace claims to help her career. They said that things went wrong when Depp asked for a divorce and that Heard lied to change the story. They also said that Heard was the one who acted violently during the friendship. Heard's 2018 opinion piece in the Washington Post never used Depp's name, but his team said it was clear that it was about him. Then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic AB, she said. This was a direct reference to the restraining order she filed against Depp in May 2016. The lawyers also talked about the cuts and scrapes Heard showed off in public on May 27, 2016. They told her she was lying about the bruises. They said that Depp hadn't seen her since May 21, 2016, and that witnesses said they had seen Heard that day without any pain. Depp's lawyers also told stories about times when they said Heard had started fights with Johnny instead of being attacked by him. The courtroom felt like it was split in two from the start, with two people telling very different stories about the same past. And people would only believe one side. A strong case was given right away by Amber Heard's lawyers. They claimed that Johnny Depp had abused her physically and mentally many times while they were together. According to them, it happened a lot when he was drunk or high. They said Heard wasn't lying and was just speaking out because she felt like a victim. They said Depp was using the Virginia case to make Heard look bad, follow her around, and ruin her career. They called the hearing a public soap opera. They also said that Heard's op-ed was legal because it was covered by the First Amendment's free speech clause. Some people said the piece wasn't a direct attack on Depp because it talked about domestic violence in a general way and never named him. The lawyers for her also told the jury that the opinion piece had no effect on Depp's image. They said that claims against him were known 2 years before the story came out. They said that companies had lost faith in Depp because of his actions, especially his problems with drugs and drinking, not because of what Heard had written. They thought Johnny had done something bad to his job. They said that Depp wasn't trustworthy in the eyes of big movie studios. The statement was clear from both sides. Heard was shown to be a planned lie by Depp's team. Heard's team made Depp look like a strong man who was trying to shut down a woman who spoke out. Now it was up to the jury to separate fact from feeling, which was no easy task. As the case got closer to its end, the tension only grew. Last words for the judges. The judge told the jury what to do on May 27, 2022, and both sides made their final points. The lawyers for Johnny Depp didn't give up. They said over and over that Heard was the real bad guy in the relationship and that her lies had ruined Depp's life. They asked the judges to let him live again. The jury heard from Camille Vasquez, one of Depp's lawyers. She told them, "You either believe all of it or none of it." In Australia, either Mr. Depp hit Miss Heard over the head with a bottle, or Miss Heard made up that horrible story about Abe on stage in front of you all. She said it was very mean, not just to Mr. Depp but also to real sufferers of domestic abuse. Vasquez went even further and said Heard came to court ready to give the best show of her life. She gave it. She also said that Heard destroys relationships and pointed out that only Heard's sister testified in person for her, while all the other witnesses were paid experts. Depp's lawyers said that a lot of people had come to court to support Johnny. The lawyers for Heard gave their own passionate finish. The lawyers told the jury that Depp did Abe Heard and said that Heard should still win even if the jury wasn't sure because the op-ed wasn't responsible. Was never named. Benjamin Rottenborn, one of her lawyers, asked the jury to think about what the case meant for people who had received domestic violence assistance. He said it didn't happen if you didn't take shots. If you didn't go to the hospital, you weren't hurt. He said Depp wouldn't take responsibility and always put the blame on other people. The judge told the jury that Amber would win if she was ABD by Mr. Depp even once. He said Depp was blaming the victim in the worst way possible. The courtroom was filled with strong feelings by the time both sides were done speaking. One story was about lies and betrayal, and the other was about pain and making it through. Now it was up to the jurors to decide which story they believed. The decision and what it means for the law. The verdict was given on June 1, after the jurors had been deliberating for almost 2 days. All 3 defamation cases against Johnny Depp were found to be false because of Amber Heard's 2018 opinion piece. They decided that the statements were not true and were written with bad intentions, which means that Heard knew or should have known that they could hurt Depp. Depp was given $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages by the judges. The fine was cut down to $350,000 because of limits in Virginia law. The jurors also made a decision about Heard's other claim. Adam Waldman, Depp's former lawyer, made 3 claims. They found one of them to be false and hurtful. Because of this, Depp had to pay Heard $2 million in compensatory losses. But she didn't get any extra money for being rude. The court case didn't end there. Heard's lawyers asked the court on July 1, 2022, to throw out the decision or set up a new trial. They said Heard had nothing to do with making the headline that went with the op-ed and that she only found out about it after Depp sued. They also said that Depp was given too much money in fines. They said Johnny told the court he would limit his damages for a certain amount of time, but then he asked the jurors to restore his full image and legacy based on claims from 2016. Heard's lawyers also brought up concerns about the age of one juror, pointing out that public records put the jury's birth year as 1945 while court records put it as 1970. Judge Penny Ascaray turned down most of Heard's post-trial requests on July 13, 2022. She said that the jurors' official papers had the correct legal name and address on them, and that the juror had given the correct birth date on the court form. She said that Heard's lawyers had not shown any proof that the jury had been unfair. The judge also said that both sides had questioned the jury for a whole day and said they were happy with it before the testing. She made it clear that no one could complain after a case had been lost. In the end, Ascaray said, appeals, exhaustion, and the final settlement. The court case did not end right away after the shocking jury decision in June 2022. In October 2022, Amber Heard officially appealed the court order that said she had to pay Johnny Depp money for damages. The next month, in November 2022, Depp also filed an appeal over the part of the decision that had to do with Heard's counterclaim. It looked like both sides were going to have another long trial fight for a few months. Things changed quickly in December 2022, though. Depp and Heard came to an agreement and agreed not to file any more appeals. Heard wrote about her choice and said that she couldn't go through another trial because she had lost faith in the American legal system, even if her appeal had been successful. That was made clear, the deal was not an admission of guilt. She also said that she had not agreed to any future limits or gags. Lawyers for Depp said that the jury's ruling was still valid and final. It was agreed that Heard's insurance company would pay Depp $1 million as part of the deal. Johnny promised to give the whole amount to charity, Depp's team said. Lawyers, public arguments, and emotional statements for years turned both sides away from the fight. But the effects on the law still had more stories to tell. There are insurance plans and a new court case. As early as 2018, before Amber Heard even put out her opinion piece, she bought insurance to cover the costs of any defamation suits. One of the policies was from New York Marine and General Insurance and covered up to $1 million. Another one was from Travelers Commercial Insurance and gave her about $500,000. It was through her homeowner's insurance. In March 2019, Johnny Depp sued her, and Heard hired the law company Cameron McAvoy to defend her. After about 6 months, she told both insurance companies about the case. Soon after, problems started. Travelers and New York Marine had different ideas about how to pay for the defense. At one point, tourists even sued New York Marine, saying the company wasn't doing its part to help with defense. New York Marine finally paid more than $600,000 to cover Heard's legal fees. As soon as the judge decided in Depp's favor in June 2022, New York Marine sued Heard again in California. The insurance company asked the court to say that it was no longer required to protect her or pay for her. They said that Heard did something bad because the judges decided. The law in California did not cover what she did. Also, they wouldn't pay any new court fees from the Virginia hearing. Heard later told the judge that her legal fees had gone over $6 million. Heard then filed a lawsuit in November 2022. She said New York Marine broke the contract and was acting in bad faith, and she said the insurance company should have paid for her own lawyers. Even though Depp and Heard settled their main argument in December 2022, this case between Heard and her insurance company kept going, adding another legal layer to a story that was already very complicated. Court decisions and the fact that Heard's claims could not be heard. Government Judge George H. Wu made a ruling in the insurance case on October 12, 2023. He decided that New York Marine was right. The judge said that the insurance company had done what it was supposed to do by continuing to pay for Heard's chosen lawyers, Cameron McAvoy. The judge also said that the insurance company did not have to pay for separate lawyers on its own. The judge threw out Heard's insurance lawsuit as moot because Depp and Heard had already settled their main case out of court. This meant that there was no longer a live dispute that needed to be decided. The case was not completely over after this decision. Both sides made their case. Heard appealed the decision to throw out her counterclaims, and New York Marine filed a cross-appeal over parts of the decision they didn't agree with. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals took over the case. On November 25, 2024, a panel of 3 judges made a decision that had not been made public yet but fully backed the lower court's decisions. The judges said again that it was clear from the insurance policy that the company could choose its own defense lawyer and that New York Marine had done what it was supposed to do by continuing to help Heard's first lawyers. Every time an appeal was turned down, the judges made it clear that the insurance dispute was over. The last official order was given on December 18, 2024. This officially ended the last courtroom part of the long public fight. While the paperwork finally came to an end, people who were involved in the case were already moving on with their lives and starting a new relationship. Johnny Depp worked hard to start over with his life after years of court cases and public drama. In May 2024, sources told People magazine that he started putting his health and well-being first after the defamation cases were over. He got used to living in London and wanted to stay close to people who would be there for him while he went back to music, art, and other creative activities. Depp showed his movie Jean du Barry for the first time at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2024. There was a 7-minute standing ovation for it. It was an important moment that marked his slow return to the entertainment business. At about the same time, reports about Johnny's love life started up again. A person told People in July 2024 that Depp was seeing 33-year-old Russian model Yulia Vlasova on a casual basis. People who knew them said that their relationship was casual. People who knew them said the two didn't call each other boyfriend or lover but did meet up sometimes. Photos of the two of them together show that they were at a concert in July 2022 to remember Depp's late friend Jeff Beck. Johnny kissed Vlasova on the cheek in a picture that was released by the Daily Mail. Vlasova herself gave Depp public praise. In the early months of 2024, she was asked to name her favorite star in an Instagram talk show. She sent a picture of their hands resting next to each other and wrote, "JD, he is a man who is very talented and inspiring." Around the middle of July 2024, Vlasova shared a picture from a plane that showed champagne and breakfast, along with the ring emoji. This caused more rumors. They were seen together at a London heliport on the same day the post was made. Online reports spread quickly that the two were engaged, but a source quickly put an end to them by saying they were not engaged at all. Before this, Depp dated Joel Rich for a short time. Rich was the lawyer who defended Depp in the UK libel case against The Sun. The two quietly broke up in November 2022, according to sources who knew them. People who knew Depp well by the middle of 2024 said that dating wasn't his main goal at all. People in the know said that as Johnny balanced creative work with quiet company, the years of courtroom noise finally faded into the background, letting him enter a quieter, more private phase. One step at a time. Do you think Johnny will change his mind about getting married again? Or does that really mean the end for him? Leave your thoughts in the box below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing stories from the past of Hollywood. Have a nice trip.